Hi, I'm Jesse Peters. I'm going to be your student's 8th grade social studies teacher on the Purple 8 team. And I just kind of am making this video to give you a quick introduction to me and some of the basics of what goes on a daily basis in my classroom with your kids. Um, so just a little bit of background of me. I went to K-State. This is my third year teaching at Anthony Middle School. And I have loved every minute of being there, and I can't wait for this year. I wanted to uh, spend most of this time showing you the Parents Quick Reference Guide, which I'll actually be sending a physical copy of this home, but there's some important things I wanted to go over before school even starts. So, in the beginning of this, you'll notice some things that I hope you'll have some time to look at. In this first two paragraphs, I have some links to standards. There are new standards that address specifically English and math, but they also address social studies within them. You can go to them through these links that I have on here, this document that you'll actually have access to that I'll show you here in a minute. But it will show you kind of exactly what we're headed to. And you can look at both the math standards and the English standards if you have time. Specifically for my classroom are over here, the social studies specific standards. And these are kind of substandards of English language arts. It's kind of ways that we integrate with them. So these things that you're seeing here, you can expect a lot of that happening this year in the classroom. We'll be doing a lot of reading and a lot of writing. So just be prepared for that, and this is where that comes from. Also, more big changes. Kansas itself has produced new history or social studies standards. You can view all the Kansas-specific standards at ksd.org, and this has all of the grades broken down by standards. I actually technically, down here, cover both Kansas history and U.S. history, and this year we'll actually be combining Kansas history into U.S. history because we found that kids don't grasp Kansas history by itself unless we have it within the context of U.S. history. So hopefully this year it'll be a lot better. But you can see those. These are PDFs. You can see the content that's there and how it's asking us to teach right there. So if you have time, it would be great if you could look at those. Okay, specifically to my classroom. This is a two-page sheet that just kind of goes over the basics of my room. I did want to point out the materials requested for this class are for students to have a 1-inch 3-ring binder. It can be used. It doesn't have to look nice. Mine's quite a few years old. With that, I asked that there is a set of 5 tab dividers, and we'll set that up in class. You don't have to worry about it then. And of course, the usual loose leaf paper, and then of course, pens and pencils. That's it. That's all that they'll need. In fact, I provide pencils if they forget, even loose leaf notebook paper. It's all there, so they don't have to worry about it if they forget it for a day or if they run out for the week and they can't get it till the weekend. But that's all listed right here. Just kind of basic supplies that we need for a class to get along on a daily basis. The grading scale we'll go over on parent night. That's the whole team grading scale, but specifically I kind of want to address my grades and what it looks like for, I guess, points in my class. Every assignment that your student does will be based off of 10 points, and if they do not get at least a 60% on an assignment, I will ask them to do it again. Late work for me, I accept all late work within the same quarter up to the last week of school. I don't take it during the last week of the quarter so that I can get those things in, but all the way up from the beginning to the last week, right at the start of the last week, I'll take it. And I don't take any points off. I will give full credit. Late work happens sometimes. We have things that happen, and I want kids to be successful, so that's how I do it in my room. When it comes to redoing tests and assignments, I do redos. Students are more than welcome to retake a test they didn't do well on. I don't do averaging of the two. I don't give them only a certain number of points. I just give them the better score. So if they do better on the second test, they get the better score. They're proving to me that they know it. The difference is that they may be asked, I may have them take a test that it's similar content, but the questions might be different. Homework, there's not a lot of homework in my class. A lot of it's reviewing notes, finishing assignments that they didn't finish in class, which they would have already been given time to do, and studying for tests. Maybe the occasional reading outside of class, but not a lot of homework. I try and reserve that time for after school, the time after school for extracurriculars, and just to be with family. Other than that, I do want to show you, on this there's a link to my website, and also up here, my website you can access through this. And this actually took you to a different page, but it's okay. There are tabs up at the top, and there's one set of the tabs that I want you to, if you have a chance to look at, I'd appreciate it. It kind of goes through how I base my teaching, and also down at the bottom there are some videos from teachingchannel.com that specifically give you an overview of what we do in this history class. Instead of kids just memorizing and spitting back facts, we actually work with primary documents, and I ask students to construct deeper meaning on historical topics. They basically are coming up with an argument of the past, and they'll learn how to read primary documents, all these things over here like sourcing, corroboration, contextualizing, and close reading. Of course, that comes with any content and reading of any kind. But we will be doing authentic work of what maybe historians would actually do in the classroom. The last thing I want to show you is that you will have continual access to a Google Drive folder that has some of the big documents that we use all year. It's over here in the More section on the tab. It says Classroom Resources. If you go to that, it tells you what's in here, and you can click on this, and it takes you to the actual folder and display of the documents that are in there. For example, the actual student syllabus, the parent quick reference guide is there, and some graphic organizers, and also there are some a sample content knowledge test and a sample historical thinking assessment. These are the two types of assessments that we'll use throughout the year. So I wanted to give a sample, so there was no question about what the tests look like, and what students will be expected to do on assessment days. So those are there for you to look at. Again, my website is www.mrpetersams.weebly.com, and my email is jessep@usd383.org. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to the first day of school.